Risk management, man. A lot of us think certain things we doing is risk, and it ain't risk. A lot of us is confused on what risk is and what type of risk we need to be taking. A lot of us is just out here just willy-nilly doing anything. We just spontaneously living throughout every day. Oh, maybe I'm gonna do this today. Oh, maybe I'm gonna do this tomorrow. I'm gonna do this. What are you, a chicken without a head? Nigga running around the farm, no head chicken, folks. That a lot of us need to get out of that. We gotta figure out the risk that we taking. We gotta figure out how risky is it to manage the motherfucking the other side of it. Okay, what's gonna happen if this works out? What's gonna happen if it don't work out? A lot of us is not calculating our risk. It's what do they say? They say if you want to be rich, you gotta take risk, shit like that. They got a whole bunch of quotes on risk, but what they don't tell you is, just taking risks that you done seen other people take don't mean that that's the risk for you. Don't mean that that's gonna get you rich. A lot of us need to figure out what our risk management is. A lot of us need to figure out what risk is acceptable for our path. It's people who motherfucking taking risks that ain't got nothing to do with their journey. They just say, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take this risk, and I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna build my career. It's not how it works. I'm sorry to tell you. It's not even close to how it works. If you taking a risk that doesn't help push your goal, taking risks that doesn't help flourish your life, you're just taking senseless risk. You might as well be out there in the streets taking risks that might put you in jail or put you in the ground. You might as well go ahead and get to taking those risks, because you ain't doing nothing but taking senseless risk anyway. It ain't like you understanding the risks that you need to be taking for your goals, for your path, for your career. It might be somebody who's a motherfucking clothing brand designer, and they risk is motherfucking I wanna motherfucking they risk is motherfucking I wanna go to all these, what would you call it, events, but it's not fashion events. I want to go to all these events to network and get my name out there. It'll be some shit like that. It'll be some shit like, so you want to go to the regular high school events that people are doing, 10-year reunion, shit like that, graduation reunion. Bro, you don't go take your ass to a pop-up shop that's happening every week. You talking about some, I'm finna go to the class reunion. I wonder how everybody, right? Don't you got a business going on? Go take your ass to the pop-up shops right there every Saturday and pose with your stuff and sell it. We got people taking risk. We got people saying, I don't even like being on camera. I don't want to be on camera, but they taking risk that got to do with videography, camera, content, entertainment. How are you not wanting to be on camera, but the risk you take is a random risk that got to do with entertainment and stuff like that? Are you lying to yourself? You ain't gonna make it far lying to yourself. Plain and simple. It's gonna be a long, hard, curdy road for you lying to yourself, and you gonna realize all these risks you taking is senseless risk that ain't helping, risk that ain't motherfucking pushing you forward. Just a whole bunch of risks that's gonna be basically disadvantages to you. Hopefully these risks teach you something, though. Hopefully these risks teach you some type of lessons, but a lot of us, our risk management is poor, and some of our risk management is so poor that we just shy away from taking the risk all in all. A lot of us might be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that's the risk I'm gonna take. 3 weeks later, the risk still haven't been took. Now, ain't that a knee slapper? Ain't that crazy? It's like, some of us are taking the wrong risk, taking risks that has nothing to do with anything, and then some of us are just not taking a risk, and we think we're gonna make it. We think shit is gonna fall in our lap. We know what we need to do, yet we still don't do it. Yeah, we still don't be urgent about things. We know exactly what we need to do to take us to that next level. You know you're trying to get to that next echelon. You know you're trying to get to that next ladder. Yet you still be average. Yet you still do the basic things in life. Yet you still live a basic life. And you wonder why you ain't getting to that next step. You more than likely ain't getting to that next step because you ain't working hard enough. You ain't pushing yourself to that next level. So you really believe that the way to make it to the top is just gonna fall in your lap. That's what you really believe. That's why you ain't pushing yourself hard enough. You really believe that the people who really worked hard for it and shit, the people who really got up every day, had to grind hard for it, not the Nepo babies, but even, it's sad to say that even some of the Nepo babies who had to keep the money, who had to maintain the money, who had to build more things, they had to work hard too. You know, it's sad to say that you thought when you get money, you ain't gonna have to work no more. Well, let me give you a news flash, buddy. Work don't stop. The grind don't stop. If you think you finna stop working hard, money finna fall in your lap. If you ain't been working hard already, go ahead and pack it up. Go ahead and pack it up. I'm sorry to tell you. You gotta go ahead, get in that habit of sharpening your saw. Sharpening your sword. If your sword ain't sharpened, how you gonna get to the next level? You still doing shit with a dull sword. You still trying to cut the branch down with a dull sword, cuz. With a dull saw. Like how? Honestly. Don't you realize that if you sharpen the saw, if you sharpen your sword, it'll cut through things way quicker? Take that into your life perspectives. If you just sharpen yourself, if you just work on yourself with a skill, it might take you to that next level a little quicker than you steady working on it without sharpening. You gotta really put things in perspective. A lot of us, we just want to take the easy route. And most times y'all just like me. We not Nepo babies. Ain't no easy route. The Nepo babies had an easy route, but they still had to work. So it ain't no easy route for us. We gotta get it out the mud, grind hard, shine hard. But y'all don't even want to do that. Y'all steady giving yourself excuses. It's an excuse for everything, for every situation, every problem. You know, it's give you a backstory story time of a personal. So right now I'm motherfucking talking to the IRS and stuff like that. And whole time the situation I'm in is a situation because now I'm reacting to the situation instead of previously being proactive on the situation. Then it could have prevented things. Now I'm in the stage where I'm reacting to what already happened, and that's the stage you never want to be in. See, if you was just being proactive at things, then you wouldn't have to react because you would have already been ahead. You would have already understood what needed to be going on, what's happening. But it's okay because the best time to grow a tree, they say, was 10 years ago, but the next best time is right now. So, you know, it was probably you should have been proactive 10 years ago, yeah. But guess what? The next best time for you to be proactive is right now, so you don't be in a reacting stage all your life. You don't want to react to every situation. You want to be able to already know, be ahead, have things under control. Because when you don't got things under control, that don't do nothing but cause stress. And when you got stress, what does that do? That do nothing but cause chaos. And when you got chaos, what do that do? That is not pushing you towards your goals. Our life is gonna have its ups and downs. But the one thing you can be doing is being proactive, grinding hard, sharpening your sword, so that way you don't gotta be in no reactive stage. That way you ain't gotta be reacting to what's going on to you, because it's not about, you know, a lot of us be like we're a product of our environment. It's not about us being a product of our environment, but it's about us being a product of our decisions. A lot of times we are a product of our decisions. And if your decisions, if your choices ain't where you want to be, then you got to change your decision and choices. Obviously, you making the wrong decisions and choices. Sorry to tell you. Let's grind hard and shine hard, big bros.